Welcoming you to a life of awareness, the Presence Project is excited for you to join us for today's podcast with your host, Paul Kerzner.
Hello and welcome to episode 48 of Are You Being Present? My name is Paul Kerzner. I want to welcome you to the present moment. I want to welcome you to the here and now, and I want to thank you wholeheartedly, sincerely, and deeply for joining me in this amazing and unprecedented present moment. The title and topic for today's podcast is The Present Moment is All We Have. And I decided that I wanted to talk on this subject because it's certainly a reminder that I share with the patients that I work with, but even more importantly, it's a reminder that I pontificate on, I think about, I explore within myself, within my own being. Because at the end of the day, the present moment is all we have, and each present moment is precious by itself. It seems to be a human quality to escape or want to escape the present moment, to want to numb out, to become distracted or lost in thought. And there's a variety of reasons for that. As humans, we want to create a life that is extremely comfortable for us. And we do that in a variety of ways. But, at times it's important to be uncomfortable because everything is relative to everything else. The beauty of being uncomfortable is oftentimes it leads to growth and change. But the only way that you can see it clearly is by being present. And really that's the irony of it all, is that, you're not going to be able to learn your lessons or really transition or shift unless you're valuing presence, unless you make presence a priority. So why is it that we're so quick to want to escape the moment? Why is it that we're so adverse to feeling uncomfortable? I can only speak for myself and the observations that I've made in clinic. But at the heart of it all, of the desire not to want to be uncomfortable, is certainly the ego mind. It is certainly a desire to not want to feel what we perceive as a negative emotion, a negative experience. But if we're being present, we remind ourselves that each moment won't last. It doesn't last. It never lasts. And I can't repeat that enough for myself and for everyone else, is that there's no such thing as permanent at all. And being present is the ultimate reminder that each moment is shifting and changing and being replaced by another present moment. And so there's value in understanding and reminding oneself that the present moment is all that we have. This moment right now, this moment is it. It's the only time that you can feel, that you can smell, that you can hear. And each present moment has opportunity woven within it. But if you're so adverse to being challenged, if you're so adverse to being uncomfortable, then you're going to lose out on the opportunities that exist within those present moments, thinking that you just want to enter into a space where you feel comfort, where you feel good. That's just not realistic. And I think that's the beauty of life, is that everything is relative to everything else. So there's going to be moments that you don't feel good. And if you're being present, you understand and remind yourself it's not going to last. And there's going to be moments that feel amazing, and you're going to remind yourself that those moments won't last either. And we have to get to a state of acceptance where we really understand that, and that we're okay with it more than anything. There's only a finite amount of present moments that exist within each lifetime. And it's important to me, and I'm hoping that it's important to you, that you don't want to lose any of those present moments. But if you allow yourself to get lost in thought, if you allow yourself to get distracted, if you numb yourself out, however that is, with whatever it is, you're going to be missing out on some amazing opportunities. And all for the fact that you just don't want to be uncomfortable. You don't want to be challenged. You don't want to be in pain. And if we're talking about pain, Pain is a very interesting human experience by itself, and you can only experience pain in the present moment. And pain, oftentimes, whether it's emotional or physical or both, is trying to teach you something. It's trying to tell you something. It's trying to help you shift in a way. But all we want to do is get rid of the pain at any cost. We become hyper-focused on it. We allow our ego to make us think that this pain that we're experiencing is going to be with us forever. Why is it happening to us? How can we stop this? And, it's really important in those moments to be super, super present, because pain doesn't last. It doesn't, whether it's emotional or physical. But, the more attention that you pay toward it, the more you allow your ego to get focused on it and make you believe things about that pain that are just not true. Yeah, you're going to want to escape it. You're going to be extremely uncomfortable, and you're going to be super focused on getting rid of it. And, we talk about acceptance. And yeah, it might not make sense to you at times to be accepting of pain and discomfort. But if you can do your work and you can have clarity in those moments of discomfort and pain, you will understand that there is value there, because there's growth points, there's opportunity, there's lessons, there's beauty, and really, it's not going to last anyway. In those moments when you're not feeling good, that's when you need to engage yourself. That's when you need to talk to yourself, talk with yourself. That's when you need to really see it for what it is as a finite experience that's going to shift away anyway. It doesn't matter how worked up you get. It's going to pass. And we get so hyper-focused on these things that we don't like. And the truth is that when you keep on focusing on the things you don't like, you just get more of those things. That's the way it is. You can be a big fan of the law of attraction or not. It doesn't matter. It's a universal truth that whatever you focus on is whatever you're going to keep pulling toward you. And so it's really important to have clarity to understand what you're focused on. And if you're in pain, the best thing for you to focus on is holding a vision of feeling great, of being healthy, of being happy. But more importantly, being accepting of whatever's unfolding in front of your face so that you could work with it, so that you don't feel like a victim that it's not happening to you. Because the truth is that everything that's unfolding in front of you is happening for you. But you will not be able to really see that unless you're doing your work, unless you have that presence practice, unless you're talking about presence, unless you're watching your thoughts, you're watching your feelings, you're being super observant. So I implore you to really remember that the present moment is all you have, and to accept it wholeheartedly, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, because that's it. That's all that there is. And it's okay to not feel okay. It's okay to be uncomfortable. There is a point to it. It won't last, and you're going to be okay. And we all go through things. It's all about peaks and valleys anyway in life. And I talk about that a lot in clinic with patients, is that life is comprised of peaks and valleys. There's going to be moments that are going to be super intense, and there's going to be moments where things are going to be super calm. We have to embrace both, but embrace it in a way that we accept it and that we allow it to flow. And it's really important to pay attention to that flow state. Because if we get into a state of acceptance, everything is moving as it should. You're not getting overly attached. You're not holding on to anything. You're not resisting anything. You just understand that it's okay. I'm going to be okay. This is going to pass. We're going to be all right. And that's the message that you need to relay to yourself in those present moments, because being a good parent to yourself, which is an amazing tool, is going to be a way for you to get through those present moments, to really embrace those present moments. I'll take a second now to talk about being a good parent to yourself. I think that's a very helpful tool. And it's certainly a tool that has helped me a lot in my life. There are many times we enter into moments that are really hard and we don't really like. and we're really challenged. And it's important in those moments that you have a loving conversation with yourself in the present moment, that you're able to assure yourself, reassure yourself, that you're able to be empathetic with yourself. Even just hugging yourself. That's an amazing thing to do, and we don't think about it. We always think about getting external comfort, having someone else comfort us. But the comfort has to come from within. It's all about the conversation that you're having with yourself in those present moments. So the next time that you enter into a situation that's uncomfortable, or the next time that you're in pain, whether that's physical or emotional or both, be the good parent to yourself. Set aside your birth parents. You know what the best parent to yourself would be like. And that's what, I'm suggesting that you do and explore. Have those conversations with yourself. Love yourself. Be accepting of yourself. Oftentimes we're so hard. We're so rigid on ourselves. We have such high expectations. And, that just leads to more self-inflicted suffering. It's just not helpful. And I'm sure that there are some parents that are listening to the podcast. And, all of us have had parents or have been parented. So we know what it feels like to be parented well, and the opposite from our perspective and perceptions on as human beings. So take all those experiences and then really think about how to be the best parent to yourself. I think that if you spend some time on that exercise, it's really going to be a wonderful tool, a wonderful presence tool, because you can only be the best parent to yourself in the present moment. So explore that. I think that you'll find it definitely to be relieving. Of course, 100% relieving. And you can do it at any time. Sometimes when I'm driving and, I can feel some anxiety, some stress, I will speak to myself out loud, and I'll talk to myself in a very reassuring way to calm myself down, to bring myself into the present moment, and to make sure that I'm not trying to escape it. So to make sure that I'm really being observant and making the most out of what's being shown to me, what's being shown for me. Because the present moment is all that we have, always and forever. I want to just take this moment to express my gratitude. I know that everyone goes throughout their day and we have all these different things to do. And it really means a lot to me that you've taken a few moments out of your day to listen to my podcast. And it's my hope. It's always been my hope, and it's always been my goal for this series to just help alleviate the self-inflicted suffering that we as humans tend to create for ourselves for no reason other than it serves our ego. Period. And it doesn't have to be. It just doesn't. It's optional. The self-inflicted suffering is certainly optional. And if you can really conceptualize that, if you can really understand that, it's going to be extremely helpful, because you'll start identifying what is self-inflicted suffering versus what is just regular suffering. And then you'll be able to use your tools in real time to provide the relief that you deserve, that you need. And that's what life is all about. It's all about, going through your moment to moments, your present moments to present moments, and enjoying it, making the most of it, learning from it, and being abundant, being joyful, being accepting. It's the emotional and engaging in the emotional spectrum of being a human being. Not trying to eliminate the extreme happiness and the extreme sad, like understanding that there's an ebb and flow to all of your emotions all the time. And, that's really beautiful. So again, I want to thank you for joining me, and I wish you all well in each and every single one of your present moments.
Thank you for listening to the Are You Being Present podcast, brought to you by the Presence Projects. Remember, you have a choice. Choose to be present.